Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. I'm so excited to be here today with Tameka. And so go ahead, Tameka, and take it away. Please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and how you help your clients. I'm so
Ab-
excited.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I am Tameka, aka FUN Coach Tameka, and the FUN is an acronym that stands for Finding Unmet Needs because I help leaders, creators, entrepreneurs, parents. I help them to strengthen their self-awareness and inspire healthy team dynamics in 90 days or less.
I love that. That is amazing. So tell us about the it factor because it's on your shirt. I love that we're both wearing our branded shirts. So talk to me.
Absolutely. So, what happened was for me, I had to realize that I am enough. I was hearing a lot of people say that it wasn't really landing for me. And me being a very logical, direct, intellectual, I needed stone cold facts. What does that mean? And then I heard a lot of people saying, you either got it or you don't. So I went on a quest and I said, I want to know what makes some people have the it factor and what makes others do not. And guess what I found out?
Tell
I
me.
found out that everyone has it. The only issue is how do you find it? How do you find out your it factor? So, in compiling all of this research, I wrote my book, Your It, because it took me 9 years, 8,000 hours of therapy, several breakdowns to get to the point where I found my it factor. And once I stepped into it, I was able to be authentic. I was able to show up and attract people, places, and things that aligned with me and my purpose. And so, this in a nutshell, the it factor is you have, look, this space right here, right? This is who we think we are, right?
Mhm.
And then this is who we think the world will accept.
Ooh.
So, in the middle of this gap here, imposter syndrome, stress, burnout, depression, anxiety, all of the things that prevent us from being who we think we are, right?
Wow.
So, what I realize is that once you find your it factor and focus solely on who you think you are, stepping into your it factor, you will filter out all the noise of the in between and you will show up authentically as you are and attract people, places, and things that align to who you think you are. So that's the it
That
factor.
that is amazing. Amazing. And I love the acronym of the fun code. I think that's genius. I just putting it out there. And I love how you kept this theme of fun and games with the title of your book, You're It. And like that's genius because it's so memorable and like it makes so much sense. I absolutely love it. But I'm gonna guess that you didn't start off here. I want to hear a little bit about the journey of overcoming yourself to get to the point where you get to help other people now find their it. So can we talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. I will say I'm just now learning how to embrace the journey because the journey of and I wanted to say this too, overcome yourself. I think that's genius. It's so
Thank you.
good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. But literally, I have had to learn every single day how to overcome
Mhm. Mhm.
myself, right? Just today, when I was on my daily walk, tears in my eyes
Mhm.
because things don't work out as planned. And so, how do you move forward, right? It goes back to who do you think you are? Like,
Mhm.
I love that question. I used to hate the question when people are like, who do you think you are. I'm just like, yes, who do I think I am? So what happened was I actually grew up in Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in foster care because my mom battled addiction my entire childhood. So I grew
Wow.
up in foster care, bouncing from home to home, being labeled the bad kid,
Hmm.
mostly because, right, like I say, I was misunderstood. I was
Hmm.
traumatized. I had a
Yeah.
lot of trauma going on, and the adults, instead of really digging deep to understand what was really happening with me, they decided, let's slap a label on her and just push her right on through. So
Hmm.
I had very, very challenging times, mostly because it was a lot that I didn't know how to navigate in life. So I
Hmm.
fell a lot. I tell my clients, I can teach you how to do this thing in 90 days because it took me almost 90 years. It's right because it has taken me the time, the journey, I can tell you 1,000 ways it does not work
Hmm.
because I've experienced it. And so I had to learn how to overcome myself in a sense, in overcoming the traumatic me by going to therapy, by cultivating a community of supporters that will help me process things, by getting mentors and coaches to help me along the way because I was a hot mess. I was
Yeah, me too. Me too.
a,
I've been there.
a hot mess. And so this is one of the reasons why, like when I work with clients, they're just like, how are you able to do this? It's just like they don't understand how I can help them get from this hot mess to who they think they are. And I told them it's because I was there. I was
Hmm.
you. I had to learn. And what I will say is because I've been down that street already, I can tell you where the potholes are. And
Yep.
so that's literally what I do. I've learned from my journey. I've learned from all the mistakes, all the bruises, all the bumps, all of the ways it didn't work, all of the relationships that I sabotaged in
Hmm.
order to become who I am today, to be able to teach my clients the same thing.
That is amazing. I relate to that so much. My mom passed away when I was 1.5. And
Oh.
so I had a different type of mom trauma, but nonetheless, it was there. And what I related to what you were saying is I remember that what the adults were focused on, what they were concerned with, what they wanted to fix was my behavior. Not realizing that the behavior is a symptom of not feeling safe, is a symptom of the dysfunction that I was growing up in, right? And so getting down to the root, when I finally managed, I had a vitamin deficiency. All I needed was some vitamins. And my behavior would have changed. Like obviously I needed therapy. I needed to talk through a lot of things, but one of the big things was a vitamin. And so I think it's such a big deal to shine a light to that if a kid is behaving badly, that's a symptom of something else that's going on. Like don't focus on the behavior, right? um I love that. I love that so much. And so talk to me, like I named my podcast, there's just a lot of thoughts from everything you said. After my book, which is with my editor, we'll be getting it out soon. Um, and I sat down one day and I thought, what do I have 10,000 hours of experience in? Like, what can I teach about from my expertise? And as someone who came from, having lost my mom at an early age, I had an accident. Sorry, I had an accident on a boat, and it left me with a lot of stuff. And by the time I was 21, I went to the doctor and I was told, "You have the back of an 80-year-old. You have a back of a disabled elderly woman. You're gonna be in a wheelchair in 5 years." And so there was a lot and a miscarriage, and there was so much. And I remember being in panic attacks, crying every single day, having panic attacks every single day. And so when I finally sat down and I was like, what do I have these 10,000 hours of experience in? It was overcoming myself. How can I find joy despite all this bullshit that happened to me? How do I actually enjoy this journey of life? Like, I don't want to be dragging myself through every day. Like, that can't be it. Like, that cannot be what I'm here for, just to be miserable and medicate myself so I can go do a job. And no, like that cannot be. And so that's where Overcome Yourself, and then my podcast was born. And so I relate so much to your story, being labeled the bad kid, right? And then carrying that with me, even though I wasn't a bad kid. Like, I didn't do bad things, right? I was just in a lot of pain. So I found that what I was lacking, one of the things that I was lacking that really helped me change my perspective, was gratitude and learning to practice gratitude. And that changed my life. So I want you to talk to me a little bit about what role gratitude played in your journey, to discovering the it factor and writing your book and doing all of these amazing things.
Oh, this is such a good question. I would
Thanks.
say this. I didn't know how important gratitude was until the pandemic happened.
Oh.
So the pandemic happened, right? We're all in this shutdown period.
Mhm.
And then Clubhouse was born. So because Clubhouse was born, people wanted stuff to do. And so I
Mhm.
was one of those people. And I remember one time I was just so depressed. It was the worst. I just didn't feel good. So I'm scrolling on Clubhouse to see what's going on, to see what I can do to either numb or distract myself. Well, guess what? There was this room titled Depressed, Come in the Room. I'm like, what?
Wow.
So I
Okay.
go into this room not knowing what to expect now because I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing in here? I go into this room and guess what they're doing? They are literally practicing gratitude. So like the premise of the room was you when you raise your hand, come up on stage and you say three things that you're grateful for. As
Mhm.
I'm sitting there listening to these people, I begin to smile uncontrollably because I'm just like, oh, that's so good. Oh, oh, like, and so I raise my hand and I'm like, let me see what three things. So I begin to start focusing on three things that I'm grateful for, right? One of
Love that.
I wrote, I'm grateful for this room. I was depressed before I came in here. I am literally smiling from ear to ear now. So it's my turn. I get up there and I begin to say, I'm grateful. Like the first thing I said was the room. And then I talked about my children. And then I talked about I'm grateful because I'm launching a book. Because I was literally launching a book. And I'm like, this is so amazing. I never knew how important gratitude was until I would say gratitude found me. It
Mhm.
found me in a state, a very, very vulnerable state. And now I know that whenever I am feeling those things, to open up and to express gratitude, because I always have something to be grateful for.
Always. There's always.
And when I focus on what I'm grateful for, the world opens up for me. And what I was sad about becomes very, very minute. So,
Yes.
what I think.
Like, it goes to the back burner, right? Because that's exactly what I talk to people about. It's about shifting your perspective. It's like putting on a different pair of glasses, and now you see things a little bit differently. And to me, the magic is how small of a thing can you be grateful for? Like, I like to play a game, like, right, like the grass, the oxygen, the AC in the house, the water, the fact that we have water. We take those things for granted. And gratitude, there's like a certain part of our brain that helps us feel it. And if we don't use it, it kind of shuts off, right? Like just like a muscle, if we don't use it, it's going to atrophy. But what's the only way to rebuild a muscle is to start using it again, and then you can start making it strong, right? Just like with my back. So, yes, and the only way to do that is to be like, well, what can I focus on? What can I be grateful for? And that changes your life. And not only everything that you said, but it also attracts more of that thing to you. So if I'm grateful for the $2 I've got in my wallet, well, you know what? You'll get another $2 and you're like, oh, I'm grateful for the $4. And now, right? I'm grateful to be filling up my wallet. I'm grateful, whatever it is, whatever you want more of, I tell my clients, find what you can be grateful for right now. Even if it's, I'm grateful that I have social media and I could literally be like, yo, I'm selling something, come buy it. You could change your life today, today, right? And so there's so many things that we can find to be grateful for. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell me more about, I want to hear a little bit more about your book. And you mentioned that there is a gift on your website for my audience. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. Okay, so the full name of the book is Your It. Finding your it factor so you can cultivate, curate, and communicate it to the world for purpose. And so what happened with me was I felt purposeless, right? And so because I felt purposeless, I went on this quest. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, how do you find your purpose? Like, what does that look like? There's some big event that happens. Like, I'm waiting for the things. And I found this book called The Purpose Driven Life, right? And so there's this like 40-day journey that you go on where you do some activities and stuff. And after doing that, I was like, hmm, okay, that was good. And I'm always thinking about faster, more efficient ways of doing things. And so I said, is there a faster, more efficient way to help people find their purpose? I was like, yeah. And so that's what I did. I compiled everything that I teach my clients. And I said, listen, the three P's are the most important things that you need to understand when you're thinking about the it factor, right? Think of any celebrity, like your favorite celebrity. Think of that person. Now, they have the it factor clearly because they're a celebrity. A lot of people have noticed that in them. But what is it that they have? And I extracted the three, what I call the three P's, and that's presence. They have this commanding presence about them. Every celebrity that you meet, the reason why they're celebrities is because of the first P, which is the commanding presence. So I talk about how to hone your presence, right? That's the first P. The second P is personality. Every celebrity you meet, whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
they have a personality that's very memorable. I'm talking about you cannot not know their
Yeah.
personality, right? So then I speak about how to really refine your personality. That's the second P. And then the final P is power. Every celebrity you know has influencing power. That is one of the reasons why brands pay a lot of money for brand endorsements because they know all if you love this celebrity, all that celebrity has to do is say the word and you're going to buy it.
Hmm.
So, those three P's are what makes us, our it factor really shine. So that's what the book is about. The book is about really diving deeper into the three P's and teaching people how to refine it. And so what happens is the first step, because as you see, I have this shirt that says It Factor Visual Storyteller. So
Love it.
I thank you. I have created 5 different it factor types that everyone will fall into one of them or a combination of them depending on your influencing style, right? And so I have this awesome quiz. I think it's awesome. I know because I made it. But it's it's on my website, like the Your It book website.
Mhm.
And so you go on there, take less than 2 minutes, and it will bring you up to the quiz. You take the quiz, and there will be like a PDF. Like I think it's so cool. I'm just saying. You get a PDF of your it factor and tips on how you can really shine with it. So I'm excited about it.
I love that. That is amazing. And I love what you said about the connection, like when a brand and a celebrity connect, because that's something I teach my clients, right? Like becoming a guest expert. When you come into someone else's market, you coming in to talk to my audience, right? You have immediate credibility with my audience because they're like, oh, I love Nicole. And if Nicole wants to have Tameka on her podcast, that means I know that Tameka's got something good to say, so I'm going to head over and listen to this episode and I'm going to listen to what she has to say. And that's instant credibility. That's instant warming up that audience. And so, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I love that. So let us know, how can we stay in touch with you, Tameka?
Well, so because people call me Fun Coach Tameka, you can
Yes.
literally find me anywhere on the web if you just type in Fun Coach Tameka. My website is Fun Coach Tameka. Every social media handle Fun Coach Tameka.
There you go. And that's you building your brand. And I absolutely love that. Look at that presence, the authority. And it's so memorable. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much. So before we sign off here, what is your final tip? Like, what's the biggest tip that you give to your audience? We want to know the hottest, the juiciest.
The hottest, the juiciest. Okay. The hottest tip that I love to leave is remember the gap. Who do you think you are? Who do you think the world will accept? Close the gap. Focus more on who you think you are. Continue to become that person. If you do not like the way you're showing up as that person, all you have to do is change who you think you are, and you're good to go.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us, Tameka. This has been amazing. And we will see you guys next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Thanks. Bye.